Benin foils coup attempt, arrests military commander and two others. Republican Guard Commander Jimon Dieudonné Trevaudre, former Sports Minister Oswald Homeki, and businessman Olivier Boko have been held on charges of plotting to overthrow the government, officials have said. So this story is coming out of Douala, Cameroon, by the Anadolu news agency. Benin announced Wednesday evening that it had foiled a coup attempt and arrested Republican Guard Commander Jimon Dieudonné Trevaudre, former Sports Minister Oswald Homeki, and businessman Olivier Boko on charges of plotting to overthrow the democratic government. Elenom Mario Metonu, prosecutor of the Court for the Repression of Economic Offenses and Terrorism in Benin, said at a press conference in the capital Porto Novo that Benin's security forces had foiled the coup attempt. Metonu explained that the first concrete act of the attempt occurred on August 6th of this year, when the Republican Guard commander opened an account in an Ivorian bank in his name. And in that account, 105 million CFR francs, approximately 178,000 US dollars, were discovered. Quote, to overcome the resistance of the commander of the Republican Guard, they promised and handed over to him on September 24, 2024, in cash, more than 1.5 billion CFA francs, which is approximately 2.5 million US dollars, the official said. He added that Homeki and Trevaudre were arrested during the transaction, and Olivier Boko was arrested shortly after. Metonu declined to provide additional information, saying the investigation is still ongoing to identify all those in the coup plot. The coup attempt occurred less than 2 years before President Patrice Talon's second constitutional term was due to expire. In 2026, he will have to hand over power to a new president. Earlier on Tuesday, the Objective 2026 movement, which supports Olivier Boko's possible candidacy for the 2026 presidential elections, in a statement condemned, quote, a serious attack on the fundamental rights and the principles of the rule of law as a political attack. So that's a story coming out of Cameroon concerning this coup plot. Other news reports are saying that Beninese entrepreneur Olivier Boko, considered a possible successor to the presidency of Patrice Talon, was arrested last night in Cotonou. This was the night of September 24th, I believe. Even the French daily newspaper Le Monde reported, specifying that according to sources close to the entrepreneur, he was arrested in the early hours of the morning by some men who declared themselves to be members of the anti-crime brigade. Reportedly, Patrice Talon's former Minister of Sports, Oswald Homeki, was appointed in 2021 to that position and then unceremoniously resigned in, I believe, October of 2022 with no explanation given. And then next thing we hear, both of them, former Minister of Sports, Oswald Homeki, and Beninese entrepreneur Olivier Boko, who is considered to be a close friend of the president, his right-hand man, some reports are saying, have both been accused of trying to bribe the head of the Republican Guard to the tune of 1.5 billion CFA francs, which would be $2.5 million. There's also an account in an Ivorian bank in the name of the Republican Guard commander, and that account has about 178,000 US dollars in there. The BBC is reporting that 3 men in Benin, including a former minister and the man in charge of President Patrice Talon's security, have been arrested on suspicion of plotting a coup, the state prosecutor has said. Ex-Sports Minister Oswald Homeke was caught on Tuesday while handing over 6 bags of money to the head of the Republican Guard, the prosecutor told a press conference. Investigators said Colonel Jimon Dieudonné Tevodre was being bribed not to resist a coup d'etat planned for Friday in the small West African nation of Benin. Also detained was a businessman, Olivier Boko, a friend of President Talon, who had recently indicated he had political ambitions. Mr. Boko's lawyers and supporters condemned what they called his abduction and have demanded his immediate release. Investigations are ongoing to identify further suspects, the prosecutor said. Benin, once praised as a multi-party democracy, has taken a more autocratic turn under the presidency of Patrice Talon, rights groups have said. President Talon announced he would not seek a third term in office in the 2026 elections. There have been 8 military takeovers and several other coup attempts in West and Central Africa since 2020. So these are the reports coming out of Benin, and we will stay on top of this story and bring you more as it unfolds.